since 2005.
Okay. And what direction has this been moving? Has it been expanding or?
Да. Видео
Давай
сделал.
пофотаемся, может быть, где когда-нибудь заметите, я
I think it's important to be in the world, but not of the world, and to be a light in the darkness.
Ой, брат. Ой, не сделал так. Ладно.
Does the world feel the love of Christ, and if so, how? Because it definitely doesn't by staying in ivory towers.
That guy is a guy that I've met. He's got a problem with alcohol, kicked to the curb, marginalized guy, and people don't want to have anything to do with him. So, but he's real friendly, and since we stop and pause and talk to him and pay attention to him, he tends to gravitate to us. So
That's great. I think it's really important to have flexibility in your time, and to love whoever's in your path, whoever God puts in your path. So I really appreciate you taking the time to.
yeah, and it's hard. It's not easy. It can be uncomfortable with people like that. But yeah, he's why we're here as much as anyone. So
Absolutely.
I was welcomed a little further north by a worker in the region who was excited to share about a nonprofit he started years ago.
You first, please.
yeah.
I'll walk up on the curb here.
It's a lot of social work, working with families, foster care, providing foster families, adoptions, still working with orphans, doing a lot with education, supplemental education.
So really, what's the end goal of this organization? What is your aim in the bigger picture?
Our work sows a lot of seeds, and then we often learn that people have come to Christ later on in other relationships where they were first introduced because of what we're doing. So while it's not a direct church planting work, it really facilitates that.
Well, you got to meet people where they're at. Jesus descended from heaven to earth to meet us in our condition and to redeem us and show us the way out of that by his life and his death and resurrection and offering the gospel. So if he would have just sat and watched my sin and said, I don't want to get involved down there, I wouldn't have salvation. So I think I'm called to do the same. Where most of this region is predominantly Muslim, there was a stronger Russian Orthodox influence and really Soviet architecture and feel in this bigger city. I think you can have two responses when you see these. One, wow, this society was so organized and they got this done. And you can see kind of the blood and sweat and steel. And you can be afraid of it, or you can say, this is a place that needs to be softened, where hearts of stone, with the touch of the Lord, can be turned into hearts of flesh again. I came across the first Russian Orthodox church that reminded me of ones I've seen in Moscow and such. It turned out to be Easter in the Orthodox tradition, which is a little later than we celebrate it. So I was walking in this courtyard, and a woman was giving out these eggs as a gift to people she met in the square here. And yeah, I received one, and apparently it's been blessed by one of the Orthodox priests. So I already feel that God's blessing is resting upon me, and this will be a part of that. So it's nice just to receive a gift. I really hope that the egg can symbolize maybe the next stage of growth for this region. In the courtyard outside of the Russian Orthodox Church, kind of typical things you might see: an old man feeding birds, kids playing, people smiling and just enjoying a beautiful day. A man with multicolored balloons. They also had some little cars that kids could ride. It was kind of a very pleasant atmosphere. One pioneers worker felt called to minister to this small minority people group outside of the city.
We're on our way to an orchard to see some fruit trees and hopefully see if there's any fruit on them.
One of the partners in this enterprise who tends the orchard showed me around.
Yeah, sorry. Peach. Yeah. I see. Nice. Beautiful. Can you explain the white painted on the trunk?
И от холода, говорит, чуть-чуть хорошо. Когда жарко будет, отражает.
It's not just in the orchard here, but all along the roads in different parts of this region. Trees are painted white to protect them from certain insects that will come and do damage to the plants. So there's a donkey in the field with a bird on its back. What is it doing right now?
Привязывает, потом вечером забирает.
He's just grazing, okay, enjoying himself. So you don't have to put any gasoline in your donkey?
The mountain range surrounding this orchard is called the Tian Shen, meaning celestial mountains. That was a striking reminder of the kingdom of heaven is in our midst. It's we pray in the Lord's Prayer, "Your will be done, Lord, on earth as it is in heaven." And I think it's really important to keep that in perspective and focus as we work and labor in the field. As this series comes to a close, the reality of the ongoing series in these people's lives keeps rolling. And the story doesn't end here. It's always an open book until the last day. And we're called to work till then, so let's do it.